before we start, I'd like to do a land acknowledgement. For many people that are not aware, this specific space, Republic Square, and this sacred tree right here is the original lands of the Tonkawa peoples. This is the original village of the Tonkawa people. So we are on indigenous lands right now. If you're excited about that, can I get a hey y'all? Hey y'all! All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for being here. I think it's so important to have events like this to reclaim the lands that our ancestors have been on, our cousins have been on. And I want to share the land acknowledgement with you. We'd like to acknowledge that we're meeting on the indigenous lands of Turtle Island, the ancestral name for what is now called North America. Texas is included in that. It is important that we demonstrate respect for the historic and contemporary presence of indigenous and Black peoples in Texas, and particularly in the greater Austin area. To that end, it is incumbent that we recognize this park as part of the historically traditional Native territories, like I mentioned, the Tonkawa peoples. Moreover, we'd like to acknowledge the Alabama Cauchata, Gado, Carrizo, Comicrudo, Coahuitlacan, Comanche, Kickapoo, Lepanapachi, Isleta del Puchuelo, and the Karankawa tribes, and all the indigenous and Black communities who have been or have become a part of these lands and territories in Texas. While celebrating the green spaces that we treasure in Austin, we need to recognize and further learn about the actions that have brought us to where we are and part of what Austin is now today. And with that, we have a panel talking all about that, honoring our ancestors, which means also honoring the spaces that we are in. And everybody here, see how they're shaking their heads? They know what's up. So this is a great panel, definitely. And as we start this activity, right before we start the panel, I'd like us to invite our ancestors into this space. So I'd like for us to give a minute to verbally or mentally name known and unnamed connections to join us in today's experience. So at this time, please name those people verbally or mentally, your ancestors, people who have passed that you'd like to join us in today's space. Thank you all for taking time to welcome those people into this space. I feel my ancestors. I feel your ancestors, the people who have been here before. I will sit down now. I want to introduce this amazing panel. It's been an honor to individually, collectively, and in community connect with each of these people. They have so much knowledge and so much passion for what they do for our communities. To begin, we have the amazing Kino Kino. Give it up for them, y'all. Kino Kino. They are a drag performer, host, poet, and educator. I feel like they're more. They didn't list that stuff, but they are definitely more. They identify as non-binary, but embrace all pronouns. In truth, Kino Kino is trying to heal their inner child with the things they have been sheltered from. Maximalist fashion, gender expression, their indigenous heritage. Give it up for that. Woo! As they grow in artistry, they get closer and more comfortable to feeling free in their brown skin. They are honored and excited to be able to be a part of such a beautiful event. And then for their adults, you can see Kino Kino every night at Oyokan Harry's for Kingdom! Okay, we're going to talk about that later. We're definitely going to talk about that later. Because that was news to me and I do not like. But as we continue with a gender expansive cast, which that is what I want to talk about, they also, Kino Kino specifically, host an all-ages healing-based open mic every first Sunday evening called Sana Sana. And so for those that don't speak Spanish, it means heal twice. And if other people know who do speak Spanish, Sana, Sana, Colita de Rana, yes. At Wake the Dead Coffee House. Y'all give it up for Kino Kino! Next on our panel, we have Izá Avalos. They are a two-spirit herbalist, healing arts practitioner, and poet. Again, I feel like they are much more things than that, but, to name a few. Izá believes words have the power to heal. Coming from a long lineage of storytellers, they bring forward the wisdom of their Purapecha ancestors for the modern age. Izá's practice is rooted in their relationships with the land and with spirit. Izá's also the founder of Poetic Bruja Botanica, which they have their space right over here. Y'all definitely need to check that out. Connect with them for handmade herbal medicine, energetic healing sessions, psychic readings, and all ages workshops. Give it up for Izá Avalos! And last, but definitely not least, this amazing person, Veronica V Robertson, is an amazing community organizer with her mission to love life and music, and co-creator of a sacred space, the My Spirit is Rooted Collective, and has curated the Rooted Experiences, which is a bi-monthly Black collective sacred worship experience by and for Black folks of all faiths. Please give it up for Veronica! And for those of you that don't know, my name is Sueitko, and I run Two Spirit Queer, which is an art and put on this event. And I also run Ino Wellness, which is a mental health practice. So I am your moderator for today. So to begin, I'd love for y'all to tell us a little bit more about what you do in the community and for community. I know I mentioned a little bit about what y'all already do, but like I said, y'all do so much more. So please tell us a little bit about that, and we'll cascade down this way. And then, yeah, so let's get it started.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kino Kino. And my name is actually my dad's nickname for me since I've been a little kid. It's probably been in every single happy birthday card until he forgot to wish me happy birthday, probably after I was 16 years old. Shout out to Daddy Issues. Honestly, yeah, he is a really conservative person in my life. He doesn't really know a lot of aspects of who I am, which I wish he knew, because I feel very proud of myself, enough for the both of us. And also shout out to my mom. She is someone who, really likes to keep in touch with her roots también. Like, I've gone on every, special trip in Mexico with her, because it really matters a lot to her. She's from the Huasteca area of Mexico, which is up in really dangerous mountain territory. That's where she grew up, in the slums. And then she got her master's in education, and then she moved over here. And isn't it hard whenever you can't keep up with the language and you're one of the smartest people in your families? And she became a caretaker in my family, but because of her and honestly my very theatrical sister, I've been able to connect with that theatrical side and do drag. And because of that, I've been so happy with myself. I've been able to connect with stuff that really matters a lot to her, the 80s music that she grew up with, Gloria Trevi and Alejandra Guzman. She really gets into that. And she's not the biggest fan of Jenny Rivera, but she does appreciate my Jenny Rivera tracks. But yeah, just being able to connect in that way has really been able for her to accept my sexuality, because I am a very happy gay person with a very amazing partner who is also trans. And they're right there. They're right there. So honestly, yeah, I've been able to really soar. And also shout out to Austin Art. It's also, yeah, my partner does drag. Of course. Yeah, it's just my partner is also a drag artist, and they were one of the first, artists with a uterus that was able to do art in the city, and it encouraged a lot of us to get out there and not just do, femme drag because we are femmes, but also, break the barriers of doing drag king stuff. So shout out to the drag kings here. There's so many amazing drag kings here, and drag things, so many drag monsters. It gets really scary sometimes in the dark. No, honestly, Monster Mash is an amazing performer that really taps into the Mexican horror. Oh, it's so good. And also all ages core. I love him so much. But yeah, I don't know. I ended up talking a lot about other people that inspire me when I'm talking about who I am, because that's kind of at the deep core of if I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for a lot of people. So yeah, and in that way that I am able to be an educator, to be now a health provider. That's my new job. I work at Vivint Health, which is an STI and HIV free clinic up in North Austin. And if you do have HIV, we provide absolutely free healthcare for you, and with a dentist on deck for you, because when you have HIV and then AIDS, see that it can really affect your dental stuff more than anything. And then we also have a free food pantry if anybody needs food, and of course free sexual health care. So that's been something that, like, I wouldn't have gotten there if it wasn't for my drag dad, Alexander the Great, who is an amazing trans king here that has a big voice here, and I'm just honored to be under his wing. That whenever Kingdom did end, which was the only drag king led show here on 4th Street every Friday, has stopped, unfortunately, due to, like, you know, because if you want to support drag, you have to go see drag. So it's really hard whenever bars can't afford to pay for the amazing art anymore, and they have to wind down to something that's more malleable to the economic crisis that is obviously happening. And if you can't provide for yourself, you're not even going to provide for, like, the entertaining yourself, which is a lot about drag. So I definitely feel for everybody, and which is really special to have this kind of art to be so accessible. So shout out to Sueitko for this, because this has been happening since the springtime. So if y'all know about this, it's all about Sueitko. So thank you so much.
Alright, hola y'all. Yeah, my name is Izá, and yeah, thank you, Kino, for sharing all of that. And I think it really resonates with me too, as someone who does have a hard time kind of talking a lot about what I do. And it's easier to talk about the folks who have gotten me here, or inspired me and encouraged me and made space for me. I will share to start that my name, Izá, is also a nickname that was given to me by my abuelita. And I love that she always uses the proper name for me, because she's the one that gave it to me. So cheers to her. And, you know, starting off with that too, my abuelita and my abuelito have been such huge sources of inspiration to me, and I always felt like I could be myself around them, and I never had to kind of make myself smaller or change any parts of myself, which is pretty huge, especially being in a Mexican family. You know, my abuelita did expect that my parents would you know, raise us very Catholic and very traditional, but that's not what happened, and I'm grateful for that freedom as well, and getting to explore my own spirituality. And I think now, as an adult who I'm someone who's studied curanderismo for many years, and have been fortunate enough to find some amazing mentorship from Jay Medina, who is in Portland, Oregon, actually. So I'm kind of new to the Austin area, but I have received a lot of amazing support from folks like Sueitko and you know, other indigenous queer people and organizations, so that's great. But yeah, circling back, so being able to explore the indigenous spirituality and, you know, the roots of curanderismo, and being able to find mentorship under that, and also the way that everything is so interconnected, right? Having folks in my life like my abuelito, my abuelita, and my parents, although, you know, they thought I was kind of weird at times, and they wanted me to, like, be a little bit more, you know, 6-figure salary kind of person, and go into an office and kind of climb the social ladder. I think I kind of changed their minds on that a little bit, showing them a different way, and being able to bring us back to our roots, and being able to have these deeper conversations now with my abuelita, where I tell her that I offer people limpias and I offer people traditional medicine, and she's like, you know what, I remember when I was a little girl, we didn't go to the doctor in Mexico. We didn't go all the way to the doctor. Most of the time we just went to our shamanic healer, her sabio, and he would take care of us and all of these things. So it's really beautiful to watch her remember her childhood and her roots through me kind of bringing it forward here on this land in a way that is very much culturally specific and centered. And you know, it is a big deal to take up space in this world with that work. Yeah, because it's definitely not the norm, and if we aren't the ones who decide to bring that knowledge and skill forward, that history forward, then it will be forgotten. So that's kind of part of what I do for my family community, I guess. That's really where my passion for this work comes from. And that wanting to be proud of our culture and making space for it. And so I also I'm an Aquarius, so I just collect myself, my knowledge, and my stories, like collecting stories from my life, kind of turning my experiences into stories and things that are, little nuggets of wisdom to hopefully share in classrooms and spaces like that. So not only is there that piece of practicing it for myself personally, for my family, and then also bringing that knowledge of curanderismo forward for other folks who are interested or feel that call.
Woo! Yeah, I'm around some gorgeous, powerful energy today. I guess in one first day is hi, I'm V. I've been called Miss V, Mama V, Aunt V, whatever the spirit connects you to me, that's who I am. That just gave me so much energy today. I'm just so grateful. When I'm just thinking about curating the space with my co-creators of Rooted, there's a song that is called Rooted and Grounded. And it's just saying we're rooted and grounded spiritually, we're rooted and grounded mentally, we're rooted and grounded connectively. And I just that was always something I wanted to be a conduit of. I am a mother of two, a mother of many. I'm one of them auntie houses you have around the corner whenever somebody needs to pull up and get a place to stay, or a nice home meal, or some place to just be. And so that's just the curator of the spiritual person that, the divine has created me to be. In that space, while we also created Rooted, I am not only African American, I'm also Shawnee Chawa, also inherited. And so I'm always been in a space where, I had to acknowledge that, because when you initially see me, you assume you know the full story. And so it's very important to me that I bring all of me and invite a space for indigenous people of color to bring all of them to the table, which is the main reason why, we put together into Rooted. I'm also co-chair of DAWA. I don't know if y'all know about DAWA, but it's Diversity, Awareness, and Wellness in Action. We do a lot of grassroots to keep the people that do for us and care for us giving back to them in many different ways, but that's primarily what we was in DAWA. In Swahili means medicine. So it's always connecting into medicine and bringing that balm that we need to take care of those that give to taking care of us, whether it's in entertainment, whether it's in spiritual practices, whether it's in growing and taking care of your community. We want to make sure that Austin still keeps us here to do so. I'm just just grateful again to be here. Presently, in all of my rootedness, feel like we all are walking altars and honors of our ancestors, and I'm grateful to acknowledge that and be a part of this today. Thank y'all.
And sorry, I'm gonna have to run it back to you because that's a great kick to the question that I have, or the offering to please share with us some wisdom for folks here, for folks watching, looking to connect or enhance their connection with their ancestors. I know a lot of times, a lot of people have been either disconnected or they have a specific way or have been told that there's one right way to connect with the ancestors, which the answer is that is incorrect. So I would love to hear from each of you on how to do that, but since you had already started on a roll, I'm going to kick it back to you and pick up that baton from when you because you started it. You started exactly what I'm asking right now, so I'd love for you to just pick back up what you were talking about, and then run it down. Yeah, I would love to hear from each of you about that.
Thank you. Oh, what did I mean? Oh, wow. Well, that was quick. I thought I had a little breathing time. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Well, let's just do this. Okay. What did I mean by I am a walking altar to my ancestors? My grandmother's favorite color is blue. This is the dress I wore in her transition. The back of my back, I have hummingbirds significating, my land in Arkansas as a Native American. I have, my children, as a parentage. I have, my hair raises to the gods. Like, people get so much misconstrued of what honoring your ancestors look like, and just like you were saying, it is something that's all the way connected that nobody really gets it. You pour a little liquor, that's honoring your ancestors. You wear that shirt with your homeboy's face on it, that's honoring your ancestors. You light a candle, when you're thinking of loved ones that you've lost, that's honoring your ancestors. You wear a piece of their article of their clothing, that's a portion of the honoring your ancestors. You listen to, just like you were saying, to your parenting, you listen to those old songs that you hear your mom and your grandma playing in the background, and it just connects to your spirit. That's honoring your ancestors. So it's not as complicated as people make it. It's you're constantly I spoke this earlier during this transition that we were going in right now. Everybody currently on this planet is a walking infinite light that has continued to live from the beginning when light is separated. Every single one of us. So whatever is in your spiritual, just know that what's in you right now has been going since it's separated from black to white, or light to dark, however you want to incur it. That you are meant to continue to be. There's still a spark that says this needs to continue. The old, showing my age, but when I was thinking of this song, it's like before the election I went to sleep, I was me. When I woke up from the election, I was still me. And that old 90s song, what I am is what I am, are you what you are or what? You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't, at the end of the day, who I am or who was before me and what's land is like, I doesn't change me at the end of the day. I am who I am when I close my eyes. I am who I am when I wake up. I am who I am when I'm walking in this world, no matter what shit changes. So when you understand how powerful that is and how much you have lineage behind you that shows you who that is, then you're constantly a conduit of honoring your ancestors.
Yeah. Oh my God. Woo, yes, chills, 100%. Right off the bat, kind of something that you said that struck with me was that this is the outfit that you wore when one of your ancestors transitioned. And I will also say this is the exact outfit I wore to my abuelito's funeral as well, and it's actually become a very powerful outfit for me, and I feel very connected to him when I wear it, and I be sure to wear it when I do things like this that require, you know, a clear connection to myself, and you know, being rooted in myself, and I'm deeply connected to the ancestor that is within me. And I think, you know, speaking to that, it is, I love Dia de los Muertos, which is an ancient indigenous practice across Turtle Island that has many different names. I love it, and I love being able to have that designated time and set things up in that special way. And at the same time, that it doesn't have to end there, and it doesn't have to start there either. We can go beyond the Day of the Dead. We can go beyond the altar and the ofrenda to, right, the altar of the self, and those moments, and just also, you know, inspired by what you said, those moments where I'm in the kitchen on a Sunday and I'm frying up the chorizo and I have my cumbia on, and I'm just feeling really connected, and it'll hit me too like a ton of bricks, and I'm just doing my shit, living my life, and then I'm like, oh, this is such a deep core memory that I have in my bones, passed on to me from my grandparents and my great grandparents, and from my parents too. And that's the way that, you know, my mom always did that too. Every Sunday we'd have this huge breakfast and we'd clean the house, and that is kind of like a tradition that I've kept on in my personal life, and it'll hit me too that, you know, I'm here frying up my chorizo and I'm just sobbing into it because I just feel that powerful connection to my abuelito specifically, because it's just something that he would do, and it just feels like, oh, okay, we're doing it together now. Yeah, and another way to, you know, everyone's way of connecting with their ancestors is going to be different, and just to reiterate that I can tell you what it means for me, but it is up to each and every single one of us to figure out what that means for us. And that is an incredible, you know, gift to have, and it's a great place to start. If you're not sure where to start with that question. What does it mean? Why do I want to honor my ancestors? And what ancestors am I trying to honor? What is the goal of this? My intention, you know, it's everything. And also, like I was saying too about deciding which ancestors we're bringing into this space, right? We want to bring in those ancestors that are, you know, lived a life that was honorable, or lived a life that that now they're whole and they're healed. You know, bringing those folks in, because sometimes we do have ancestors that maybe there's not a place for them, and that's a hard reality too. Yeah. So it's complicated work, and it can get a little sticky when you're having to sit with that truth as well. And there have been times for me going deeper into the work where there's an ancestor who is, you know, has, maybe they went in a sudden or violent way, and they want help to cross over, and they need some help from me in my human form to kind of release them from their stuck place. And it's important to also remember that that's a choice. We can choose to help them, or we can choose to not. It doesn't mean that we are inauthentic, and it doesn't mean that we failed in our jobs as being a good living ancestor either. So just to speak to the complexity of honoring our ancestors a little bit, sometimes it feels a little, sometimes it feels a little hard. It just feels a little hard, and that's just the simple way to say it. And another thing about like the embodiment piece too is like just living yourself to your full expression, even if, right, there's like folks in your immediate family, your immediate ancestors that maybe, you know, I'm a queer person, maybe I have immediate family that are homophobic, and do not, they don't have a place on my altar, that's for sure. And also I do have queer and trans ancestors that go all the way back to the beginning of time. Those ancient ancestors that our indigenous cultures did not have a practice of separation, did not have a practice of homophobia. Like all of our queerness and transness was completely not only accepted but celebrated and given very special roles in our communities. So just to also name that as a piece of honoring all of our good ancestors.
Thank you. I think both of you have said like such wonderful insights that even I'm gonna take with me on applying with that, because again, like I had parents that didn't celebrate Dia de los Muertos, much less like wanted it due to just like American Baptist culture. They didn't even want to celebrate Halloween. So it was more than not living a very authentic Mexicane, even indigenous like traditions that I'm not very familiar with what could have been. Because even then in my Mexican family over there, they wanted to get out of that. They wanted to get out of that mentality of like, oh, well, we don't need to know about that because in Mexico, it's just the same. Like everybody wants to be rich. Everybody wants to at least get by through the middle class. And it can get a little bit normalized and washed away even in the homeland. So much less would I go there and they'd be like, oh, well, like, let's celebrate Dia de los Muertos together there. It wasn't even until the heart of our family, my grandma passed away, that then they were like, oh, we care now. Because I don't think anybody was cared for in the way to care about ancestral love, because I don't think anybody was really as warm of a presence until my grandma probably stepped into our lineage. Which I love her for that, and I wish she didn't hold that much weight on carrying such positivity, because ever since then I feel like I haven't been super close with like a lot of my family members, because she just held that glue so much together. So I always honor her in everything that I do. She passed away when I was 15. It's been 10 years. I miss her so much. I knew she was one of the people that really like did not care what you did with your life as long as you were happy. And she was just such a big light in that. So I'd always try to like carry what she would like to see in a bar space, oddly enough. Like if my abuelita was to be up in Tree Up Charlie's, what would she want me to do? Like, and so, whenever it came down to me dressing up today, I did think about, Cepillín, and I was like, oh, my mom loves that iconic clown. It was like from her childhood, and so I just try to do anything that would like honor my mother, even though like because honestly the way she talks to me sometimes, she's like, my life is done, because she's with an abusive person that she's like accepted. Like my parents are divorced and like they still live together, because that's just how my dad's energy lies in my family. And she needs obviously financial stability to be able to get by in America. So she's kind of like, you live for me. So I kind of do, unfortunately, with the way that I try to express my Latina heritage and like what she would want me to see, what she would want me to do, especially because like she just likes anything that like I put effort in, because she knows that I wasn't about to be in this world due to like depression. I did not want to live a lot of the times, especially growing up. So I know we were talking about ancestors, but just like honoring my mother is like, and my grandma who did pass away, are kind of like the immediate people that I realistically can like glue without not knowing who else I'm honoring, unfortunately. So if you feel that way, just know you're not the only one out there. And also that really stopped me from like owning my indigeneity, because I just didn't know who put me here. So it's been such a big recent thing for me. So if you feel like you are stopping because you don't feel like you deserve to know, or like you don't even know where to start, like I get it, because I just started too. And honestly, like, meeting people like Sueitko, like, I've been able to, like, accept who I am and accept that I do have a space to introduce maybe a new concept to even myself, but a concept that has always meant to be here, because just me being curious about it probably gets the ancestor that wants me to know about this, like, kicking their feet, like, yes, like, please, be happy, just, like, revel in your happiness. And even then, because a lot of societal and, like, 21st century problems did get in the way of my body, of my soul, I think just, like, having a smile on my face is enough for my ancestors to know that, like, I'm getting by in this kind of climate is probably enough for them, for me not to feel bad that I don't know who they are. So that's what I would like to say about that.
I want to kind of echo what some of them were saying, because I know, especially for folks that are just starting to reconnect with their ancestors or even just their culture, sometimes the messages are like, well, what am I taking from this message? But what I want to say first is I would love to open it up to the audience. So if anybody has a question for our panel about honoring your ancestors, about the way, you know, you navigate and implement your ancestors into your daily life, please come up to this mic stand so I can hand you the mic so you can ask the panel. And so, yes, please come up here. And so I just want to echo what they were saying. So it's not just about the past and how you are in the present, but it's also how are you honoring your ancestors for your future. So I want people to understand that it's like a circle and a cycle of life, not just about the past and the present, but also thinking about the future, right? Like, as you prepare for events, as you create different artistry, as you connect and create different events across, you know, Austin, and thinking about how you can bring the past into the present. The present is the stronghold, and then, like, catapult you into the future. So for folks who missed the underlying message of that's what they were all collectively saying. I just wanna, you know, share that. So we do have a question from the audience, and I'm gonna hand over the mic so they can ask.
Okay. So my question is, how do you celebrate your ancestors? Like the ones that are gone, like the one in the flowered shirt or embroidered shirt. I too believe in like the Coco movie. I own that movie because I am not Latino or Latina, but I wish that I was for a day so I could be around all of my people. And so how do y'all celebrate the two in the middle? And then I'll ask Mama V. There you go.
Is that the same question for Mama V too?
Yes.
Okay, so did y'all get that? Okay, we're just gonna run it down the line.
Yeah, of course. So, again, it wasn't even just because of, like, my Latinidad. It was just, like, American culture that I was, like, just, like, closeted away from a lot of fun things. So I think that's a big reason, not even just because I'm Latina, it's just because, like, the way that I grew up, I want to do drag. So in the way that I celebrate my ancestors, well, we just celebrated the Dia de los Muertos show, me and Sueitko together at Cheer Up Charlie's. And honestly, like, I don't think the energy would have been so lively if it wasn't for the land acknowledgement and the invitation for our ancestors to be in that space, because it's just that simple. To be able to believe in yourself, that's probably your ancestors. Like, if you ever feel, I always told myself, like, my conscience is probably my ancestor. Like, that's like a really easy thing to pinpoint, honestly, because I feel like I have to be, like, super much smarter. I have to read a certain type of book from someone from my heritage to get it. No, like, it's definitely the way that I have fun is, like, probably how a Mexican just likes to get down in general. So they're like, "Andale, vamos, fiesta," you know. So I think that's just, like, accepting what you like to do is step one of how I like to celebrate myself and my ancestors. So definitely being like, this was like my second ever Dia de los Muertos that I've ever celebrated on top of that, and for it to be such a big milestone in my life, and just like as a drag artist in general in Austin, Texas, to be able to put on like a mega stacked cast of Mexican and indigenous performers to honor such a beautiful event that every culture can absolutely partake in. Like, if you want to celebrate, like, that's how it, like, if that's how I feel about if you're gay. Like, if you want to love who you want to love, what's wrong about that? Like, if you want to honor your past ones with an altar that you get to decorate all pretty with the people that you like do it. There's nothing absolutely wrong with that at all. There's no appropriation, there's nothing evil going on. So if you're not doing anything evil and asking for goodness in you, then the door is already open, most likely, to your ancestors, or to whoever you want to connect with.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, one thing that I will say is that, yeah, we all have ancestors, and in each and every single one of our lineage, no matter where that lineage is from, indigenous folks, we are not the only ones who have practices and celebrations to honor our ancestors. So you know, and for me too, like reconnecting with my roots, sometimes that did just look like me trying to research online and Googling things and just starting with something really basic. So, you know, I encourage anyone that has any idea of, or even just like a family story of like, oh, well, this is, you know, we think our family is this, we think our family is Russian, we think our family is Scottish, or we think our family, we might have roots in Asia or whatever, and you're not really sure. I would encourage you just to start doing your own research on those histories and ways that, you know, maybe in your lineage have celebrations and what they do. Like in Celtic culture, there's Samhain, which is, you know, it's on Halloween, but it's the same idea of we're honoring all that is dead and dying, whether that's in nature or, you know, our past loved ones. So it's definitely not a practice that's limited to any one culture, and there is so much information and resources out there for you to help yourself connect authentically to your own lineage.
Okay, let's see. How do you honor your ancestors in your present time? I want to make it clear that you don't have to go far back to find them, because they're still with you. What I can give you an example. When my son's dad passed away when he was 7, I was trying to figure out how we were going to do the anniversaries. And so we just collectively said, okay, we're going to live life on that day, no matter what that looks like. When you think about living life, I asked him that when he was 7, you know, you want to celebrate your dad, what does it look like? And he was just like, it looks like Dairy Queen. And because that's just where they would go. They would just go to Dairy Queen. And so for most of the year, whenever his birthday or whenever his anniversary of his dad's passing, we would all go to Dairy Queen. We would get whatever his little order is. We'll get the ice cream, you know, and that's just how he would do it. Over time, he has expanded it beyond my wildest dreams. This boy even jumped out of a plane. But anyway, I mean, and that's what I, you know, as I've seen people's lives transition and people deal with loss, I bring that up for a purpose. I bring that up to just say like you say, it can be as big as the shrine in the pictures, and it can be as small as drinking their favorite beer. You know, it can be as, you know, as simple as, you know, telling the story. You know, while you were bringing about, you know, Coco, just the memory and saying, you know what, I remember when, when such and such and such did such and such and such and such. Girl, yeah, I remember that. You know, you already there. You're already there. They're already there cracking up like y'all didn't get the full story. They can tell you the truth. You know, you just start hearing it in the background like, you know, that one, you know, that's about your sister always tells that story, but this is not how it really went. It really went like this. You know, and you'll start hearing it in the back of your head and you start cracking up. You know, I've had so many, you know, interceding moments with spirits that have transitioned that can be, and I sometimes, for me, that's why I say love life and music, is because they can wake me up in the middle of the night with a song I ain't never heard of in my life, and then they tell me to send it to certain people. I don't know where that sound come from. I can't tell you why that song is significant, but whenever I send it, whether I really am connected to them long term or I just met them or we have some type of connection, I send it, they're like, oh, that was when so it's always around you if you keep your eyes, your ears, and your heart open to them. And like she was saying, you're welcoming them to bring positivity into your life. You're welcoming them to bring memories that can hold you or guide you or comfort you. When you open up that door and you want to open that space for yourself, it will all be given to you when you need it, how you need it, in a way that nobody else can give it to you.
Thank you so much for your question. That was great for them to highlight and reiterate and clarify some of the ways that you can honor your ancestors, because it doesn't have to be huge. It can be small, but it's also in the things that you do every single day and the way that you connect with your culture and bring yourself into the daily practices that you have. So thank you so much for your question. That was great. I would love for y'all to share, because as much as questions that I have, I'm sure y'all have insight about things I didn't even ask yet. I would love for y'all to share any final insight you have with our audience about honoring our ancestors and connecting with them, connecting with yourselves in that way. So any insight that you have that maybe I didn't ask the question to, or the audience didn't ask the question to, but you would love to share and let folks know about that.
Some final insights on connecting with your ancestors is just to first connect with yourself. I think it's very important to, if you have any questions in your life on how to, you know, fix your sadness, on how to bring in a certain presence in your life, whether it's a new friendship, maybe you want love in your life, maybe you want to reconnect with somebody in your past. Usually the answer is already there before you even ask the question. I always, like I said, my conscience is my ancestor. When I was a kid, they said that the conscience is just in you. Like, it's not just like something that like you have to practice. It's something that is just in you. So I literally thought it was like a little guy, like working in my brain. So as I got older and I like realized what my culture was, I was like, oh, well then like it's Jesus Christ. And then I got older and I was like, oh, it's me, but like not me, because I think just me is not strong enough. And I've been through a lot of really, really bad things. So I do like to think that si puse mucho en las manos de Dios, I did put a lot of my life in the hands of God, and He did guide me. As long as I knew that He was the only one around me, He took care of me. But once I got to explore myself outside of Christianity, I realized that not only does God have me, my ancestors have me. So that's something that I really like to carry with myself, that if they're working together, then I can bring in a lot of wonderful things into my life that I can't even imagine. Things that, because I have a lot of trouble with loving myself. So I think that's something that can come really easily if I just ask for it enough. Something that I can practice with myself too. So I just hope that if you want to ask for your ancestors into your life, that you just remember to ask yourself to like be aware, because I'm really good at dissociating. I'm really good at like staring at a corner, ready to leave after like the third gig. You know, I can be really tired and forget why I'm in a bunch of makeup to begin with. You know, like, so it's really good to remember that I'm grateful to be alive. And then with that, I think more answers from my ancestors will come if I'm just more calm.
So yeah, just inspired by what Kino said. Those moments where you feel alone and you feel the pressures of the world weighing on you, and you feel like you are just lost in that darkness of unknown. Trust that you are surrounded by generations, like V said in the beginning. Since the beginning of time, we have been passed down this life somehow through so long, so many generations. They've passed down this life to us. So all of those loving ancestors, they are already there. They are already having unconditional love and faith in you. Sorry. Is it me? The ancestors are coming through the mic.
Oh my goodness, no.
Right? Okay. Well, yeah, so if you're ever feeling like that, just know that even if you feel unloved by the people in your life, your ancestors, they pass down this life to you with unconditional love and faith. And however much, we put our love and faith in our ancestors, they're already here. They're honoring us in the same way that we honor them. And they are still here. They are just in a different form. They're not humans anymore, but they are still here in a form that we might be surprised how well we can perceive it if we give ourselves the space to. So, yeah, it's my ending insight here. Thank you.
Woo. I'm gonna keep it simple. I'm doing my best. Like I said, there's no need. I have to stop doing that, saying I apologize, because I can't apologize for what the facts are, and how I'm set up. There's a song called "Simply Put," and it's just pretty much just saying there's so many different things that can get you confused about where you are or who you are. There's so many different places, there's so many different ideologies, there's so many different thoughts, there's so many different ways when you're searching. You kind of get exhausted from search, because there's so many different extensions of that you don't know which way is right, which way is wrong, which way is indifferent. But at the end or in the middle of the chorus of the song is saying, simply put, just to know that you love me, that you like me, and that I'm yours. If you keep that in you, then all other things of questions will be answered for you. I can't even say it strong enough. Like, when you seek it in that way, and you just know that that's at the core of it all, at the root of it all, to know that in this now, then you're taking a breath. You have the permission to live, and knowing that you are loved, you are cared about, and you are surrounded by the light of life, however you want to define that. And just keep that simple. Keep it simple. And all the other big questions and fears and stuff will just went away, because it's not going to change. It won't change. No matter what outside world looks like, it's not going to change. You're loved. You are seen. You are held. You are walking light. And that never dims, no matter what darkness comes.
Wow.
So the very, very last thing I would love for everyone up here to share is, how can we continue to follow you? What do you have going on for the rest of the year? Tell us about the events that you have coming up. If people have socials, or if you have emails, workshops coming up, please let us know, because we want to continue learning from each and every single one of you.
Well, if you like a gay bar, I'm celebrating my 26th birthday by doing a trans quinceañera. So anybody that, if like for example, like in the cast, if they were a biologically female that was given a quinceañera, like myself, that might be the day that you realize you did not like to be a girly pie. And it was really crazy. Or there's a trans girls everywhere that would have dreamt of having a quinceañera. So it's mostly trans girls because I want to cry and feel my slice of life night by inviting talented, one of the most beautiful trans girls you've ever seen in your life, honestly, women in period, because trans women are women. So if you want to see some beautiful heritage in a really massive queer form, that's going to be December 14th at Cheer Up Charlie's. It's a trans quince, and the information will be coming out within the next week. And yeah, every first Sunday, if you live in San Marcos, if you're in the San Marcos area, I do host an all ages open mic where we have, honestly, queer youth really feel it out and do drag, which is really special and legal. So we party it up at a local coffee shop at Wake the Dead Coffee House. And it's really special every first Sunday at 7 p.m. at Wake the Dead. Oh yeah, my socials are Kino Kino _LOL on Instagram. Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. Thank you.
All right, y'all. So yeah, typically you can find me at different markets every weekend here in the Austin area. Definitely give me a follow on Instagram if you have that. I'm at Poetic Bruja Botanica, and I post about that. I have my full apothecary set up. I also will at times offer card readings and traditional limpias as well. Yeah, in December, I have 2 opportunities for folks to come and learn practical herbalism with me. On December 1st, we will be infusing our own oils and learning how to dry our own herbs as well. And then on December 8th, we will have seasonal tincture making. So we'll be learning about how to extract herbals for this particular part of the season and the different methods of doing that and all that good herbalism stuff. Yeah, and folks can expect to take away like a gift bag and community made medicine as well. Those will be at Earth Commons here in Austin, and the signups are live on my website too, so definitely check that out. And let me think for a second. I don't know. Sometimes I add random events, so definitely just stay tuned on my website and on socials if you got it. And come check out my table too if you want to have a longer discussion afterwards.
Blessing this day has been, everybody. I'll just put that out there. You can find my personal email, my personal social media at Love Life in Music. Love Life in Music. My Spirit is Rooted is going on their year anniversary, December 14th. You can find that at My Spirit is Rooted on Instagram. dawahills.org. I encourage you to sign up. We are having Vision 8291 during South by Southwest, where we are raising money for 4 BIPOC nonprofit organizations. We are looking for towards the end of the year or the first of the year, we have a DAWA fund, which is we just give mini micro loans, $200 or $300 for people in need, whatever that need looks like. It's a very simple application. I know how valuable planting that seed, whether you need new art equipment, whether you need a sound check, whether you need to pay your light bill, whether you need whatever that looks like for you. I encourage you to check that out. Check out Dawa Hills. If there's a platform that you want to be a part of, we have a free or low income where you can record podcasts at our headquarters. We have a space that you can rent out as well. And if you can't reach me any other way or any other ration, I would say we have a My Spirit is Rooted playlist on Spotify. I call it a spiritual shuffle. So when you get on there, click shuffle and let the spirit pick up whatever it needs to hear from you or you need to hear from it. So that's where you can find me.
So before everybody goes from here, I just want everybody here, if you can, be as loud as you can for Kino Kino. For Izá Avalos. And for Mama V. Thank you so much for all of your knowledge and wisdom today. I hope everybody in the crowd learned something. I hope y'all at home learned something. And I'm so excited to continue connecting with y'all and seeing y'all out in the community. Bye, everybody. Thank you. Oh, wait. So, y'all are free to go. Y'all, thank you so much for being here. I'm also the host. Oh, we're going to get a picture. Don't worry about that. So I just want to let everybody know that we do have booths here. Izá has their booth right over there. Come talk to Kino Kino if you